and lost the game. And the Dodgers headed to St. Louis, leading 2-0. In Game 3, the Magic returned in St. Louis for Terry Pennant, making a brilliant play in the Dodger bullpen and an even better play to save Game 3 for St. Louis. In Game 4, Jerry Royce was all thumbs. He couldn't come up with the ball. He couldn't come up with his first league championship win, and the Cardinals came up 12-2. And that's driven to deep right field. Gone! And that was Game 5, and the Cardinals lead 3-2, and this is how they feel as they come to Game 6. NBC Sports presents the 1985 National League Championship Series. Today from Dodger Stadium, the St. Louis Cardinals versus the Los Angeles Dodgers. High noon in Los Angeles on a beautiful summer's day for Game 6 of the National League Championship Series between the St. Louis Cardinals, winners of 3, and the Los Angeles Dodgers, winners of 2. Hi, everybody. I'm Vince Scully, along with Joe Garagiola. There's a string now of 13 straight home victories in the National League Championship Series. Orel Hershiser hasn't lost here 12 straight. Is there such a thing as a law of averages?
Well, I would think that there is because statistics say there is, but I don't think ball players believe it that much because you still have to play the game. That's the important thing, and it comes down to today.
Joaquin Andujar has not pitched well, since he won his 20th game. If you were Tommy Lasorda before the ball game, would you get on his case? Would you try and make him blow whatever cool he might have?
Absolutely. I'd pick out guys who I knew were at pretty good needles, and I would try to bench jockey him. I would have guys trying to bunt. I would have guys scrutinize every move he made. Like I'd play off the line one tough Dominican. I'd remind him of the year he had. I would do everything. And it's up to Andujar to be in such control. He says, hey, I know they're going to do that. I'm going to pitch my game and not let anything bother me.
What about Orel Hershiser? Do you think the Cardinals would do anything differently? He was in trouble in the outset. Definitely looked like he was a victim of some pressure his first time out, but he got off the hook.
Well, he was a victim of the hype. He didn't pitch within himself, and he said it, and he knew it, and I think it'll be different today for him.
I think the mental part is going to play a big part in today's ball game. We'll check the starting lineups and have a lot more, all coming up right after this.
Sorry, girls, but I gotta let some of you go.
Some working mothers are out of a job because you insist on eating Chex brand cereals without the milk. Don't you realize that Chex was designed to go with milk? Just enough milk gets trapped between the spaces to bring the true grain taste out while keeping the hearty crisp in.
Well, do you type?
So please, for them, for you, don't eat Chex without the milk.
In the past, you saw a big Ford pickup carry a Chevy pickup up this monster mountain of boulders. But now we're going to top ourselves by carrying a Chevy and towing a Dodge pickup up the same mountain. Because this year, Ford has the most powerful lineup of V8 engines, gas and diesel, of any pickup. And only Ford has independent front suspension for ground-grabbing traction. No wonder they're America's best-selling full-size pickups. The best-built American trucks are built Ford Tough.
If you're waiting to buy a personal computer, you may have questions about power, expandability, and dollars and cents. For the complete answer, take a close look at IBM. An IBM PC runs thousands of programs, expands easily, and prices are better than ever. So don't wait. Once you take the first step, the rest come easy. IBM Personal Computers.
Sunday, join Alamo Joe for an adventure through time.
Stay cheap.
Sunday on Amazing Stories.
This scene occurred just a couple of minutes ago, and it is rather unusual. As you can see, the Dodgers were introduced individually along with the starting team on the third base foul line. Whitey Herzog opted and refused to have his Cardinals introduced. The quote which we have received about third hand is that Whitey felt one introduction is enough, and since they had been introduced here back in Game 1, he didn't see any reason for them to stand out there for Game 6. So it is a lopsided scene, but it also picks up the thread of what we were talking about at the start, Joe. The fact that the mental part will probably play as big a part of this game as in any game played in quite a while.
I think there's some gamesmanship going on, and I heard that Whitey didn't want him out to the Cardinals because he didn't want them to get booed and the Dodgers to get cheered.
Well, here's the Cardinals who will play, and their sensibilities and sensitivities have been protected by their manager. Willie McGee in center field, Ozzie Smith, yesterday's hero, at short, Tommy Herr at second, and Jack Clark in the cleanup spot at first. Andy Van Slyke in right, Terry Pendleton at third, Darrell Porter behind the plate. Tito Landrum is in left field, and Joaquin Andujar will be the pitcher. One other question, of course, it is called the League Championship Series. I would assume that the league president, Chub Feeney, should have called the shots, and in a sense, Herzog's refusal kind of undercuts the league presidency.
Well, there's all kinds of talk. They also said that Whitey would not allow cameras if he won into the locker room, and they said, well, you can't stop that from happening. You saw the defense, but the key on the Dodger defense settles with that man right there, Hershiser. He's got a quick curve. He tries to change speeds more. He runs his fastball up and in. He throws cross seams to get it up and in. If he gets too fine before he has to and gets behind the hitter, he's going to be in trouble, but he's just got good stuff.
All three of his losses came on the road in a one-month span. June 8th in Atlanta, June 26th at San Diego, and his last loss, July 7th at St. Louis, 7-1.
Watch it really go into that glove. You can't take your eye off for a minute.
2-1, and it's a ground ball to the left of Duncan. Big hop. He staggers, but gets him anyway. And the Dodgers have certainly done a magnificent job in shutting down the league's leading hitter. Willie McGee was hitting only 190 as he grounds out, so he'll give up some more points.
I said, what were you hoping? When Ozzie went up, he said, I would hope he'd hit one out. He said, well, how long have you been hoping that? He said, about 7 years.
This is for his family. If we get his name up there with some of the big left-hand knockers the game has ever seen.
Not much when you've got power, but of course he's not known for power, Smith.
The bunt up along third. Hershiser can't barehand it. I think he would have had enough time to field the ball with his glove, but he opted to barehand and couldn't do it, and it's going to go as a bunt single.
You can really, excuse me, Ben, you can really deaden the ball here as opposed to you see the delivery. The ball really is dead right here. It doesn't come up, and he could have gotten it with the glove. I think either way, too late. Smith had a base hit all the way.
So Ozzie Smith standing at first, and Hershiser trying to keep the Cardinals away from home plate. At least his heel is in foul territory. Nothing said about it. Ozzie's not going. Ground ball to Sachs. He boots it, but they get a force on what's a perfect double play. So there it is. It'll never appear as an error, but it can be a monstrous kick.
He just booted the ball. Luckily, it stayed in front of him, and he was able to get the force, but lost a double play, which would have ended the inning.
So Tommy Herr at first. Herr during the regular year stole 31 bases. Busted bat, ground ball to Madlock. The quick way to Sachs, and they get the force. And for the first time in a while, the Cardinals fail to score in the first inning. And at the end of a half, Cardinals nothing, Dodgers coming up. The Dodgers stack up. And we'll begin with Mariano Duncan leading off at shortstop. And immediately the plate umpire, Jerry Crawford, going out to talk to Joaquin Andujar. And Crawford now is going over to the Dodger dugout. And it would appear as if he is been called over by Tommy Lasorda.
It's the rosin bag. Andujar picked it up and threw it over to the Dodger dugout, and you have to have the rosin bag over there on the mound. Andujar didn't want it, and he just flung it over there. We've got some gamesmanship going on here. There's no question about it.
Here's the Dodger lineup. Mariano Duncan opening up at shortstop, followed by Kenny Landreau in center field, and then Pedro Guerrero in left. Bill Madlock in the cleanup spot at third, and Mike Marshall in right field. Mike Scioscia behind the plate. Greg Brock is at first. Steve Sachs will be at second. Oral Hershiser the pitcher. And the bat boy is now bringing a rosin bag out to the mound and has dropped it behind the rubber.
Some national exposure. Millions and $1 million spent, and we're going to watch some guys do a little gardening here. Usually it's the landing area that they worry about, but apparently they got it so wet and packed in for Hershiser that it affected Andujar, and now they're going to correct it. And if that's not gamesmanship or lifemanship or one-upsmanship.
Yeah, I'm reaching. I think the man who wrote it, I know the man who wrote it was an Englishman, and I believe his name was Potter, Stephen Potter. And he would have loved this, because this is right out of his book.
It's usually in front of home plate or the landing area on the mound, but here it's right at the mound. Just a bit too wet. Now they'll work on the landing area too. You can see he's putting some down at the landing area. Chris is working in front. The other fellow is working on the landing area. And there you see where he dumped it, because it's the stride that affects the opposing pitcher.
You know, it's amazing. I remember in 1962 when the Dodgers and the Giants were in a bitter pennant race, and the Dodgers had to go and play in Candlestick Park. Walter Olson was the manager of the Dodgers. Alvin Dark was the manager of the Giants, and Maury Wills was the #1 base runner. And the Giants literally flooded the infield. I just meant they turned the water on.
Oh, yeah. I tell you, you know, it's the game. It's the season right here, and you're going to do what you can.
1-2. Line drive down the right field line, base hit. And he is on his way for another 2. They'll hold him at second base. It's a fastball up, and he was able to pull it, and with his speed, even with the bad leg, easy 2-base hit. When we were down in the Cardinal dugout and in the dressing room before the game, before the game, how well he's seen the ball, and it certainly has proven out. The ball inside, he's been able to pull it, and he's been able to hit that outside pitch to the opposite field and driving it. 200 lifetime. And he goes the other way, and it's a fly ball to left center, tagging as the catch by Landrum, and Duncan coming to third. He's in there. And boy, Landrum hit that a long way. Kenny thought it might be a home run, or at least on the wall in this league championship series. But they're going to pitch to him with a runner at third and 1 out. And he pops it up. Boy, what a big out and a big lift that is for Andujar. So Guerrero, who has been the big man to get the Dodgers here in the first place, is shrinking by the minute. Thumb. It is a recurrence of an old injury, and that thumb is heavily taped. They wanted to x-ray it, and Madlock said, no, I don't even want to know what's wrong with it. I have to play. And he hits one up the middle. Bad thumb or otherwise. 1-0 Dodgers. And the Dodger bench going wild. He has only 2 hits in 17 at-bats. Madlock goes, and it's swung on and missed. So Marshall strikes out. The Dodgers get 1 on a key single by Madlock. And at the end of an inning, Dodgers 1, Cardinals 0. Reason is Southern California averages, I think, 14-point-something inches of rain a year. Except on the mound.
That's right.
Here's Andy Van Slyke and a ground ball to Sachs, who seizes the initiative. He wasn't going to wait for the ball to come to him. He charged it and made the play. Including you at home that Pendleton bunts.
And the broken bat. He's already gotten Clark with a broken bat. Ground balls and broken bats.
Terry with a protective shield guarding his right arm. And he bangs it. Backhanded by Duncan. Throw.
Major League play. Watch this. It comes up for him and stays down. No chance. He takes 2 steps, braces himself, knows he has to make a hard throw and does. And gets him by a full stride. That last hop really jumps up for him.
I'll tell you, there's only one other shortstop in the National League who makes that play, and it's Ozzie Smith. And that's hammered to center for a base hit. Landreau over to get it on the second hop.
That was a curveball. At least that's what the catcher signaled for, but it was not a curveball the way it was thrown. It was just a big, flat wrinkle. It didn't have any bite at all to it. You could see right about now.
Ground ball to Duncan. He'll go the long way to Brock, and thanks to Duncan, the side is out. No runs, 1 hit, a man left at the end of an inning and a half. 1-0 Dodgers against the Philadelphia Phillies. 1-0. Ground ball to first. Clark is there. 1 away.
Watching Andujar pitch, you've been reading the papers today. They were getting on Whitey about how he mispronounces names, Hershiser and all that. Now,
for the Cardinals, coming in, Cedeno and Van Slyke with his power, and especially with Sachs and Hershiser following, has probably gotten a 3-0 green light. He can swing if he likes the location. Way outside. Has struck out 4 times. And that's hit in the air to Van Slyke. 2 down. So if nothing else, Hershiser will come up. And then if he makes the last out, you have the leadoff man starting off in the 3rd. He had twice tried to squeeze and failed.
he's enjoying it.
And he hits it into right field. He's enjoying that. Brock will be stopped at second. Van Slyke has a great arm.
And aggressive. That's the thing. He didn't take for granted that Brock would not go to 3rd. He turned completely around, Van Slyke did, and he fired it to 3rd base.
1-2. 2 away. Fastball hit into center, base hit. Charging it is McGee. Brock will score. 2-0 Dodgers.
Served it. It looked like a good pitch. Outside part of the plate, and he just serves it. It was not right down the middle. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Could be he was trying to sink one, and Duncan just served it.
Landreau, the on-deck hitter, almost hit him with the bat trying to get over and signal to Brock that he didn't have to slide. By the way, he didn't exactly pussyfoot that ball up to the plate. That was temperature in the middle 80s here in Los Angeles. And Kenny hits a high fly ball to right center. It's playable, says McGee. So the Dodgers get 1 run on a walk and 2 hits, lead 2-0. And we'll be back after these messages from your local station.
Upset at anybody, it's just that he's just going to react.
Here's Andujar now to start it off against Hershiser. Andujar probably drives it to left field. Back goes Guerrero to the track at the wall. Can't get it. And into second base goes Andujar with a double, and Guerrero has hurt himself. Guerrero is limping in left field.
Hit that hard. Andujar in batting practice hit 3 balls in the seats. Watch Guerrero now. He goes into the wall very hard. It's that bad hand first.
Yep.
And here goes Bill Buehler out there to see how he's feeling. He is hurting.
Ozzie Smith. And that's hit up the middle, speared by Duncan to get him. And I'm not sure whether Hershiser's foot touched that ball or not. But Duncan was able to handle it. Maybe it just hit the side of the mound, and that took a little smoke away from it. Ozzie. And there's a miracle to strike out the Wizard.
There was a breaking ball, hard breaking ball inside, and it was off the strike zone. Ozzie tried to knock that run in, chased it, and you'll see it. Great pitch by Hershiser, way ahead. Even if Ozzie hits it, he hits it on a handle. Really doesn't send it anywhere.
Her with 4 doubles, a home run, and 5 RBIs. Andujar third. 2-0 Dodgers. Line drive, base hit, and the run is in. Just like that. So you let Andujar double, and immediately the Cardinals, like the good ball club they are, cash him in.
And we're not going to have that lead.
And, you know, it could have been Hershiser gathering a little wool. He had gotten a base hit in the second inning. And he hits a fly ball off the hands. Tough play. Guerrero can't get it. He hit it off the hands, and although we can hear it near home plate, the outfielders can't, and instinctively they're frozen. High fly ball into left center. Guerrero and Landreau both calling. It'll be Guerrero. And Guerrero is due to lead off the bottom of the third. We might get an indication of how badly he hurt his wrist. At the end of 2 1/2, 2-1 Dodgers. His average in the league championship series, 278. But I think he made a mistake. It is only my own personal thought.
Lockjaw.
1-1. Popped it up. And let's see, it'll be Terry Pendleton. And look out as he almost has a collision with John McSherry, and that would have registered about a 7 on the Richter scale.
Clouded sky. I mean, nothing is up there. Just a blimp in a plane.
The ballpark are fine, but the mountains have disappeared. And Madlock strikes out.
There's that sidearm pitch. It's vicious. He did it to Madlock in the game he pitched here, and Madlock didn't give him a chance the first time up when he tried to get ahead of him. He jumped on the first pitch. Here with the sidearm curveball, he got him. Watch this. He really drops it down, and it looks like it's even out of the strike zone. It certainly is.
And as each minute goes by, I keep thinking of how important everything going their way. And boy, they were brought to an abrupt halt by Andujar's double and the resulting run. There's a drive to left field, but it's playable, and Landrum will make the play. So the Dodgers are out in order to show you how things have calmed down for Andujar. And at the end of 3, Dodgers 2, Cardinals 1.
Friday on Miami Vice. Can Crockett and Tubbs rely on a crazy ex-cop?
Or would you rather go for what's behind door number 3?
Friday on Miami Vice.
Sometimes a simple river crossing isn't so simple. And when you've got him back, it's your turn. Bush. Head for the beer brewed natural as a mountain stream, for a taste as smooth as its name. Bush. Head for the Bush beer. Head for the mountains.
Lots of hustle, that's our repeat. That's why he's eating what the big boys eat. Loved his Wheaties since he was small. Now dig in, big boy, have a ball. Classic hit of crunchy wheat. Pure and simple, not too sweet. Dive right into those Wheaties, Pete. Now go tell your mama what the big boys eat.
Sunday, Barbara Eaton is back as Jeannie, and you'll be rolling in the aisles when she cuts loose.
It's mass hysteria.
I Dream of Jeannie, 15 years later, Sunday.
Pendleton robbed of a hit in the second inning as Mariano Duncan backhanded his ball on the grass in shallow left field and threw him out. 1-2. Little nubber back to Hershiser, and he handles the comebacker to Brock. Here's that play that deprived the other. Does this guy complain a lot? 250. And he fly balls to right center, and Landreau is there. He hit that on the hands.
Just watching that last pitch, though, and Jerry Crawford behind the plate, I wonder why his dad, Shag Crawford, doesn't get on him a little bit about why don't you umpire like I did and get behind that catcher. Jerry doesn't use the catcher. His father used the catcher better than anybody I know.
And they're always worth listening to. Ground ball to the hole to Duncan. Boy, that hugged the ground, and he gets him. Mark Twain said, I always thought my father was an idiot.
when I was 14. And when I was 21, I was amazed how smart he had gotten in the last 7 years.
Dodgers 4th inning. And Mike Socha grounded out in the 2nd inning. In the series, hitting .214. He's paying the price for catching every day. Line drive into left field. Base hit.
So and in the side of the bag.
High fly ball into right center. McGee going back to the track and will make the catch.
In Busch Stadium. But since Dodger Stadium is not really completely enclosed in the first 2 innings. So she goes, and there's a high chopper on what might have been ball 4. I think that thing was inside, but Sachs grounds into the out.
You were right. It was definitely a bad ball. With 2 strikes, he's going to pitch it to plate or not get called out, and he chased a bad ball.
Breaking ball hit down to Terry Pennant. That's that. But he's out of the way, and they will begin the next inning with Duncan. No runs, 1 hit. And at the end of 4, 2-1 Dodgers. We'll be back after these messages from your local station. He pitched, Sachs swinging at what should have been ball 4 in the 4th inning. And in the on-deck circle, same thing, got him in the neck. Had danger. 3-2 to Andujar. A hot one hopper right at Matlock.
He was hustling down that line, too. He was really running hard. He thought he had himself a base hit, but
Hit to left field. So McGee, a rabbit is at first. Remember, 56 stolen bases during the regular season. And with 1 out, Ozzie Smith the batter. So the tying run is aboard. And there goes McGee. Pitch outside, the throw, got
he's got a good jump. Now, Socha's throw is just dead perfect. Tagged him kind of high, but watch Socha where he catches that ball that goes right into it. I mean, he guns it.
I can see 2 on that play. 3-2, the count to Ozzie. Ground ball to Duncan. And they're out of the inning. Put the tag on Willie McGee a moment ago. High chopper back to Andujar, who lost it in the sun. Working on Landreau and Duncan. Nobody out in the 5th. Dodgers 2, Cardinals 1. And there goes Duncan. The pitch is inside. The throw is high. I think a better throw might have gotten him, but Porter almost threw it into center field. 1-2. High bouncer over the mound behind second, flagged by Ozzie to get him, and over to third again Duncan. And once more we saw Ozzie Smith kickstart his body.
That's what he did. Watch him when he gets in the air. He's got to put something on it. Watch him shift it right there, and he gets enough on it. Again, Landreau does the thing.
Breaking ball and a fly ball into left center. That'll be deep enough. McGee lost it for a moment. Makes the catch. Here comes Duncan, and he will score.
Out, and boom, they cashed it in.
Mariano Duncan is 2 for 3, scored twice, driven in 1. And here's a high fly ball into deep left. Back goes Landrum away. Cardinals averaged 7 runs for Andujar in each game he won. Ground ball hit Ozzie. That will be that, but that was complicated by a comebacker lost in the sun. And at the end of 5, the Dodgers 4, the Cardinals 1. Hurd, Clark, and Van Slyke. And in fact, take one away, make it 7 RBIs.
He has to get too fine before he has to. There's no one on right now. The one thing you want to stay away from is the base on balls.
And he's gone 3-2 to Tommy Hurd. Just missed. So Tommy Hurd walks.
First baseman.
With all of his high wire act. That's the first walk, but it's enough to get Karanowski on the phone to the bullpen. And the batter is Jack Clark. Fastball popped in the air to right field. Marshall has to go back, but he's there. And Hurd halfway. Folks, the East Coast 3-hour time difference just now getting off work and picking up the action. You've joined us. We're in the top of the 6th. 1 out. 4-1 Dodgers. Ground ball wide of first. Hershiser has to cover. Sachs hits him with the throw, and down to second goes Hurd. Pennant robbed of a hit by Duncan and hit back to the box. High bouncer to the right of Sachs. He backhand gets him. So the Cardinals lead Tommy Hurd, and at the end of 5 1/2, 4-1 Dodgers. And Scioscia's chance to swing the bat. He's grounded out and singled 1 for 2. Close to walking Sachs, but Sachs wouldn't let him walk when he swung at a bad ball in the 4th inning. And he walked Scioscia. And the Dodgers at first base. If you score 2 runs or less, you lose. Score 3 or more, you win. High pop fly. It'll be Tommy Hurd.
Trouble. He's got trouble. He really battled that. He had to flip the glasses up, and he had to really battle that sun.
Lift the sunglasses to find the ball. Here's Sachs. Fly to right, grounded to third. And popped up a bad ball again. I'll bet you that thing was way out of the strike zone. So he's just up there flailing away right now. Take a look at that pitch and see where it was.
Batting in the 8th spot like Sachs, you look for him to punch that ball the opposite field.
1-2. Got him with the breaking ball again. So the Dodgers get the leadoff walk to Scioscia and lead him. 4-1 Dodgers. We'll be back after these messages from your local station. Andujar still fussing, and I'm sure at himself, over the 5th inning. It should be a 2-1 game, but the bouncer by Duncan that he lost in the sun undermined what is otherwise a strong effort. Guerrero's fly ball got a run home, and then Madlock homered, and he is seething in the Cardinal dugout. He's a marvel. Darrell Porter, Tito Landrum, and then we'll see about Andujar. And promptly, first ball single. So after getting into a sloppy mood of pitching behind the hitters, Hershiser tried to start a hitter off with a strike, and Porter greets him with a single. He's allowed 7 hits. Ground ball up the middle, and it's a base hit. Porter will stop at second, and Hershiser's got the wobbles. 2 to McGee, who singled. He got out of that inning. Then he walked Tommy Hurd, opening up the 6th inning. And now in the 7th, back-to-back singles, and you know he's struggling. Steve Braun, who is the active Major League pinch hit leader with 113 coming up.
Known for.
Big bouncer wide of first. Brock will have to feed Hershiser, and the runners move up 90 feet. Trying to pick up a couple. Line drive, base hit. That will not only get Porter home, it'll get Landrum home, and it gets the Cardinals back in the game. And I'll be honest, that's sure figured, because Hershiser is not pitching like anybody who's going to be around here very long.
The first pitch after a relief pitcher comes in, because everybody's worried about getting everything going again, that's when he would take off.
Well, now you have Niedenfuhr and Jerry Royce, and they're going to go to Niedenfuer. Boy, that's tough. You throw the big home run the other day, and you're right back in the fire. Can it really be the day before yesterday? It seems like it just happened. And would you believe that it is Ozzie Smith coming up to face Tom Niedenfuer? So the last pitch that Niedenfuer made gave the Cardinals that dramatic victory. Now he comes in with Willie McGee at first, the tying run, and Ozzie Smith to be the batter.
Mentioning McGee, he had his foot on the bag and he still got his foot on the bag, just watching Niedenfuer. Now there he's standing right there, just studying Niedenfuer, even though he's just warming up. McGee at first base doesn't really have to have a sign, or does he get a sign? He's another one of those rabbits that if he thinks he can go, make it go on New Year's Eve.
McGee not going, and the ball is hit to right field and down in the corner. It is going to be a one-bouncer, and it's live. McGee is being waved around third. The overthrow will allow Ozzie to go to third. As Marshall's throw went over Sachs' head, that gave Ozzie Smith the extra base. And now you know why Lasorda was reluctant to go to the bullpen. And it is 4-4. Triple by Ozzie Smith.
And again, he pulls it down the right field line. They were punching him up the middle, and Niedenfuer, who throws way better than an average fastball, the last two times that Smith has faced him, he's pulled him. Marshall's relay, as you pointed out, then missed the relay man.
We had mentioned it yesterday. There is no comparison between the two bullpens. The Cardinal bullpen, to give you an idea, Lottie, Daly, and Worrell retired 33 of the 40 batters they faced. The Dodger batting average against the Cardinal bullpen is 175. Ball and one strike to count. Got it. Fastball.
He'd have to go through the full-arm bluff, hoping that maybe Ozzie Smith would break and he could pick him off there.
Yeah. Got him. Two runs. And another to add it up to...
Saturday on Hunter. A beautiful rich girl is getting away with murder.
That sweet little thing?
It's undercover danger when Hunter swings into action.
My woods are fantastic.
Will you help me put on my tent? Nope. I'll give you a s'mores granola bar. A s'mores granola bar?
1, 2, 3, 4, remember the taste of s'mores. It's in s'mores granola bars, s'mores granola bars.
Oh, boy!
Graham, chocolate, marshmallow, and more. Remember the taste of s'mores. S-M-O-R-E-S, remember the taste of s'mores.
Roger, will you help me put up my tent?
Ralston brand s'mores chewy granola bars. Remember the taste?
Your 100% pure beef.
The beef goes on.
When you're sear sizzled, lean and juicy.
McDonald's beef goes on.
Your great beef taste goes on and on.
You're all beef, pure beef, lean and hot. So your big beef taste just won't stop. It's a good time for the great taste of McDonald's. The beef goes on.
The following message is furnished by Major League Baseball.
1985 has been a great year for me and a record-breaking year for the family of baseball. Like any family, we've had our share of problems, and we're working hard to solve them. But we've had some great performances, too. Just take that young man in St. Louis, and that kid on the mound in New York, and that youngster like myself in Houston. From all of us in the family of baseball to all you families who cheered for us, Thank you for sharing a great season.
Major League Baseball, a family tradition. Share it all.
Game day. The NFL 85 locker room. Meet Ahmad Rashad. His beat is the glamour side of the street. You'll get exclusive interviews from a man who really knows his football.
We got to get him his own dressing room.
Ahmad Rashad. He's been drafted by the team who's putting the fun back in football.
Season, and he's been better than that. He's been in 3 games in the league championship series. He's worked 4 1/3 innings, and he has not allowed an earned run. He has allowed just 2 hits, no walks. He's the young man from nearby Arcadia who went to Biola College. And Guerrero. Ground ball inside first, and there's nobody there. Overshifted was Van Slyke, and Duncan is going to be waved to third. He is going to be in there. Van Slyke is arguing with the umpire in right field. I don't know if he's claiming interference from a fan or if Runge was in the way. Watch what happens here. He pulls it between Clark and the bag, and Van Slyke has a little bit of trouble. He plays the carom. Now watch what happens here. He kind of hesitates right there, and that's where he loses the play, and Mariano picks up the extra base. There was no fan interference. No problem whatsoever. It was the complete surprise, just as the Dodgers couldn't believe Ozzie Smith would. And that's a little pop fly. Her going out and makes the clutch catch, as he does all year long. He had some problems with the sun, and he turned his back to the infield, made it doubly difficult, but he hung right with it, and look at this. He finds the ball right here and makes an over-the-shoulder catch, and now Whitey Herzog wants to come out and talk to his... So he takes the bat out of Guerrero's hand. 5 intentional walks. And meanwhile, the man coming up leads both teams in RBIs in the championship series. Madlock has 3 home runs and 7 RBIs, and they're all on their feet at Dodger Stadium. Ground ball down to Ozzie. He'll go to her, and the throw to first is in time, and they got out of the jam. Bill Madlock, 6-4, 3 double play. Mike strike out, and this place goes wild with relief. Then Duncan, in the bottom of the 7th, triples, and they go wild with ecstasy, only to be frustrated about the double play. 1-1. Slow ground ball. Sachs to Brock. You know, Pendleton slides. Every scout I have ever talked to, and every baseball man I have ever talked to says, you waste it when you slide to first. If you continue to run, you have a better chance of making the play than sliding. Todd Worrell. Ground ball hard to Brock. And he'll underhand to Niedenfuhr. 2 down.
He is really reaching back, the big buff.
1-2 to Tito Landro. Popped in the air, and it'll be Sachs looking at Landro, and it's Landro's ball. All right. At the end of 7 1/2, Niedenfuhr has settled to retire 5, and the score is tied at 4. 4-4 tie in the bottom of the 8th. High fly ball into right center. Van Slyke and McGee, and it's going to be over the wall. I can't believe that ball carried out. hit to right. Van Slyke, good coverage, gets over there, fighting the sun. Boy, was that a tough play. In fact, everything hit in the air is a tough play. If there is a 7th game tomorrow night, Bob Welch would figure to start for the Dodgers, and John Tudor for 3-1. He's swinging if he likes it. Ball 4. Sacks. Fly to right in the 2nd inning. Swan. Of course, remember, it's in the high 80s here today. Fastball. So after all the breaking balls, he gives him the express to blow him down. For me lately.
Last time at bat.
1-2. That'll do it for Tom Niedenfuer. But Marshall will get an ovation as he trots to right field. And as we go to the 9th inning, hard hats and safety belts. 9th inning. The Dodgers, trying to stay alive, are leading because of this man. Mike Marshall's towering home run, clearing the right center field barrier. Despite a tremendous effort by Andy Van Slyke to climb the ladder and get it. 5 runs, 8 hits for the Dodgers, 4 runs, 10 hits for the Cardinals. Dave Anderson will now take over at 3rd base for the Dodgers. And Cesar Cedeno will be the first man to come up and hit. Cedeno, McGee, and Smith would take one more look at the home run and at the great effort by Van Slyke, who thought he had it until he ran out of room.
Look how high he gets, over the fence. He would come back if he throws it for a strike. Well, he's a thinking man's hitter up there. And if the ball's not moving, the hitter's going to be moving around the bases.
Doesn't mean much. 2-2. On the hands, got him. Boy, was that a great location. Perfect.
Towards left field.
1-2 to Willie. And it's lined to left field. Base hit. So the time run is aboard, and it's a guy who can motor. And here comes Ozzie.
Ozzie Smith.
There goes McGee. Sosha's throwing a bounce. He's stolen it.
Mike kept looking to the bench, see if they could give him some help. Here comes Peranowski out to talk to Niedenfuer now, and Mike rushed that throw. That's his.
Well, he pitched him into the home run. He pitched him into the triple. What does he do? 3-2. Away. Ball 4. And now Lasorda is really in the deep water. Boy, you talk about that whale that's stranded in the river up near Sacramento.
And whoever in that bullpen, the Dodgers lose, their pitching staff will go with 6 months rest.
Ground ball hit slowly. It'll be Brock feeding Niedenfuer. And how do you like this situation? The tying and possible winning runs are in scoring position with 2 out and Jack Clark coming up. Do I walk in and pitch to that so-and-so? He's not going to walk him. It is Jack Clark and Tom Niedenfuer going head-to-head, and the ballgame on the line, and the crowd on its feet. One way or another, what a way to end. Never tried to steal home this year. I'm not saying it's even crossed anybody's mind, but it might have crossed yours. Here's Clark, 1 for 4. Jack hit into a force play, hit a fly ball single to left, flied to right on the first pitch, and struck out. And he hits one to deep left field, and that one is gone. And Lasorda got the answer to his rhetorical question. Something about, should I walk this guy and pitch to that so-and-so? Well, he didn't walk him.
Look where all the players are. They want to make sure he touches home plate. Now they'll pick him up. They all backed off. That was a rule they made after Ozzie Smith hit the home run. There was some indecision as to whether he touched home plate, so Daniel made sure.
Look at who was out there at home plate. Vince Coleman, number 29.
Everybody's going to be out there.
You would think
that the face would be a little kinder to one man in such a short amount of time. That's as slow a trip as Jack Clark ever made. I mean, he takes a lot of time. There's McGee. Look at Socha just kneeling in disbelief. Now watch the players. Popped up around the plate, and it'll be Socha or Anderson. Socha. However, the St. Louis Cardinals with a big 3 in the 9th inning. And at the end of 8 1/2, it is 7-5 St. Louis. Daly pitched 2 2/3 innings the day before yesterday. Mariano Duncan, who had a single, a double, a triple, a stolen base, scored twice. 1-2. Strike 3 call. All the weight, however, has to rest within the heart and on the shoulders of Tommy Lasorda. 1-1 to Cabell, 1 out in the 9th, 7-5 St. Louis. They are 2 outs away from the World Series. And the Dodgers are 2 outs away from a long, cold winter. As if they didn't know him, they know Jack Clark one day better. Strike 3. And in Los Angeles, we are 1 out away from football. 4 out of 7. Popped up. We are this close to it. And St. Louis is going to the series. And they deserve it. They stopped Valenzuela. They spotted Hershiser, a 4-1 lead. They knocked him out. And they came back down 5-4 in the 9th inning against Tom Niedenfuhr. And that's enough tribute to the Cardinals. They did what they had to do and beat the Dodgers 7-5. A worthy champion of the National League and a worthy representative to go into the World Series. And the Dodgers come up a buck short. Jack Clark being mobbed, Greg Brock staring off into eternity, and we'll be back right after this.
Whitey Herzog, congratulations, Whitey. Yeah, Bill, that was a big one. We got down early. We got their best pitcher going. He hadn't been beat all year here, 12-0, and we came back, and Ozzie Smith got an awful big hit. When you consider those things with Hershiser, when you were down 4-1, were you thinking 7th game? Not really, because we've been hitting the ball pretty good off of him. Even in the ball game, he beat us 8-2 the other night. We hit the ball fairly hard, but we didn't stay close enough to do anything. Today, I got to give him a lot of credit. I don't think he had his good stuff, and he kept battling, and he bent a little bit, but he really didn't break. But Ozzie Smith, again, got the big hit off of Niedenfuhr to tie the ball game. And, of course, then he struck out Jack with a man on 3rd and 1 out, and Jack got back at him. In the 9th inning, he had a pitch to him, and Jack nailed one. It looked like Lasorda was thinking about it. Did you think they were going to walk Clark? Well, you know, a manager only he's got to make a guess, and I think he wanted to go strength against strength, and it's just one of those things that happen, but I don't think you can second guess. We got to go. Thank you very much, Whitey. Let's send you back upstairs.
Okay, remember tonight, Game 7 of the American League Championship featuring Dave, Steve, and Brett Saberhagen. That's at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on NBC. For Joe Garagiola, this is Vin Scully. So long, and thanks for the ride.